All right, guys. May and June is usually the only slow time in the NFL, except for one thing. Schedule! 1 week from today,
Schedule games.
The NFL schedule comes out, fellas. We are all excited. Usually it's on Thursday, but the NFL's getting a little crazy this year with a Wednesday schedule release. By the way, we talked about this a little last week, but before we get into, and Anthony had a question for us about like how many primetime games do we think the Browns are going to get?
I spent way more time on this than I should have, by the way.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah.
Before we get to that real quick, last week we talked about the possibility of because Roger Goodell talked about going to 18 regular season games and 2 preseason, and we know it's going to happen before the end of this decade. There'll be 18 regular season games. Joe Burrow was asked about it yesterday. And he said that if they do that, there should be a second bye, which we talked about. But he actually had an interesting take, which I thought was good. The league probably wouldn't do it. But he said what they should do is each team gets their one bye wherever it is, and then there should be 1 week in the season. I don't think he said exactly when it should be, where every team is off. It's just a week off in the season. And the league won't want to do that because they want an extra week of product. But what I did think off of his idea is have the first set of buys be, over 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever. But the second set of buys, instead of doing all 32 teams in 1 week, have all the AFC teams off 1 week, and then all the NFC the next week.
I like
this
that.
way, you'd still have TV product for those 2 weeks.
I like that.
I like that, yeah.
That's what they should do. Instead of spreading out that second bye, they should do that. But
I always thought it made sense to have all divisions. Like 1 week is the AFC North bye, 1 week is the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't know why they don't do. I know the schedule's hard to put together, but you'd think they'd be able to do that.
I just always thought that made sense because these are the teams competing for the division crown. There is advantages and disadvantages of when your bye week falls early in the season. It all depends on how you're playing, when you want it to hit. But I just always thought it made sense, group them together, and that way it's more uniform and consistent for those 4 teams in each division.
But if you're going to have the second bye, do it that way. All right, so 1 week from today or tonight, we'll find the schedule. We'll find out the schedule. And so the question, guys, is how many primetime games will the Browns have? The Browns, how many did they end up with last year? 3?
3.
All right. The Browns had a good regular season, obviously. It didn't end well in the playoffs, but they went 12-5, had a really good year. Obviously, expectations are that the Browns will have, at least a decent season. I mean, it depends where you look. I mean, right now, first of all, it's stupid to make predictions.
Don't forget about Colin Cowherd's controversial take where he had to finish in 4th.
I was just saying yesterday, you are the best with those headlines. Colin Cowherd's got controversial.
Hey, listen.
It's at 12,000 views.
Yeah, but
I know, man.
It's all about the titles.
That's it.
And then he put out the clip of that today saying, the Browns thriving despite no love from national media. It's great. He's the master of it.
But it is crazy, and I think the Browns. Well, go ahead, Mike. You start us off. How many games do you think?
I spent way more time on this than I probably should have.
Yeah.
I will admit, as soon as the Cavs game ended, did the post game, and then I was like, I'll spend 5 minutes on this. I ended up spending like 35 minutes.
Right.
So the most primetime games any team in the NFL had last season was 6. 4 different teams had 6 primetime games. I don't think the Browns get to 6, but I think they get to 4 this season. 1 more from last year, and I even picked the teams and the day of the games.
Oh, so you got the dates too?
I went all in. How about this? Week 3, at home, versus the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. We know the Chiefs get a lot of primetime love. Mahomes. You have Watson. You have the rematch from the playoffs a couple years ago, the infamous Baker game.
I don't think Watson moves the needle from a.
This is my imagination, Bull. You can save yours for later. We know they're going to have at least 2 primetime AFC North games.
Yep,
probably.
A Thursday night Week 7 matchup in Baltimore. The Cowboys are on the schedule. Nobody gets more primetime love than the Cowboys. Week 13, Sunday Night Football. Dallas in Cleveland. Imagine the crowd for that, G. And here's the creme de la creme to top it all off. At Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. We got a Wednesday night game, a Thursday night game, a Sunday night game, and a Monday Night Football game.
I like
Why?
that.
Because the Browns are going to be competitive. The AFC North is the best division on paper, maybe in the history of the league. You have the reigning coach of the year. You have Myles Garrett, a marketable star. This could be the Deshaun Watson redemption tour. We'll see. And you factor all those in with the opponents they're playing, I think we got 4 primetime marquee matchups for the Browns on their 2024 schedule.
I really like the Chiefs one. I think that's a nice angle. You got to, like, if you go back in the time machine and you go back to that game where I believe it was a playoff game where Deshaun Watson, I think there was a 28-7 on the
27-0 on the Chiefs.
27-0 on the Chiefs. And I went back and watched that game. It was funny because Deshaun Watson had just signed a huge deal prior to that game as well.
Right.
Like, so at that time, people thought in the league it was Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson as the top 2-3 quarterbacks that was moving, young guys. Since then, Deshaun Watson, it's been well documented with his fall from that position. And all Patrick Mahomes has done is live up to the expectations and deliver championships. So I like that. I like it a lot. I think the Browns have gone to the Chiefs a number of times. I think the Chiefs actually go to the Browns. Is they at home this year?
Yeah, it's in Cleveland.
Yes. So I like that one. I got the Christmas Day game.
Oh, you're also going Christmas Day.
I'm going Christmas Day.
I like that.
But I like the fact that it's kind of odd. I want to get a little interleague stuff going. I like the Eagles game. I like the Eagles around that time. Philly, we'll go to Philadelphia. I'll take that. And I think they get a Baltimore Ravens game at some point, either home or away. And I believe they get a Steelers game. They'll usually put a Steelers game on. So, and if they do have a wild card, if they're playing well, I'll say that they get 3 division games, and they'll play the Bengals somewhere along the line.
Flexed at the end of the season, flexed it in, so 4.5.
Yep. I think they'll probably have 3 or 4. I think you guys are wrong about the Chiefs because there's only a certain amount of primetime games that each team gets.
And the Chiefs have to be on every week.
The Chiefs... the Chiefs are playing the Bengals. You know that game's going to be on primetime.
Yes.
They're playing the Niners. That game's going to be on primetime.
Yes.
They're playing the Ravens. That game's going to be on primetime. And they're playing the Bills. Those are the 4 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks on the Niners that are like big rivalry, much bigger rivalries than with the Browns. Plus, they'll have some division games, even though the division's not great. So I don't think it'll be. I think either the Eagles or the Cowboys or the Giants.
I like the Cowboys
because you play in the NFC East, even though the Giants aren't very good, but obviously they get good ratings in New York. So I think between the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants, I think one of those 3 will be on primetime. Lately, it's been Baltimore. Like between Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, 2 of those 6 games will be on primetime. So that's 3. And then I could see like a weird one against Jacksonville or just some other weird opponent. They're not playing the Texans this year.
They're not playing the Texans.
So I'll say it ends up being 4, but it could be 3. I'd be surprised if it was more than 4.
What do you think Christmas Day, though? Do you think the Browns have a realistic shot to be a Christmas Day?
They were
game?
last year, so
They were Christmas Eve last year, but that was a
Eve.
Sunday.
They had one
What
with
year
Baker.
is Christmas Day this year?
It's Wednesday. It's the first ever
Oh,
Wednesday.
Wednesday
They have, I think, 2 or 3 games on Wednesday.
Didn't they have one with Baker and the Packers, Browns?
That was Christmas Day, wasn't it?
That was Christmas Day, I think.
But that was a Sunday. That wasn't special. This is a special.
Okay.
Right.
Wednesdays on Christmas is on Wednesday.
Well, there's going to be a Christmas Day game. Is it only 1 game, or is it going to be 1 or 2?
I think there's 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'll double check.
That's right. The NFL has decided they own Christmas now, too.
So why did anybody say they got the Cowboys? Why not Thanksgiving?
That's true. Where's the Cowboys? Where's the Browns playing at Dallas?
No, Dallas is in Cleveland,
Oh,
so
so
it
that
can't be
game won't
Thanksgiving.
be-
It's
that
also
can't be.
2 Christmas Day games, not 3. So 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the odds are they won't be on Christmas, especially if they played Christmas. They played like an exclusive Christmas window last year.
No, they didn't play an exclusive Christmas window last year.
Oh, they did. I thought they played Christmas Eve. Or was that 2 years ago?
Dude.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, the Commanders,
No,
Jaguars, Saints,
they played
Raiders,
Christmas Eve,
no,
but Christmas
Broncos,
Eve was
no.
Sunday.
Okay.
And then they played Thursday. They played the
Right,
Jets
right.
Thursday night after,
Okay.
which was the 28th.
I'm going to say it's 3. You guys are going 4?
I'm going 4.
Okay.
4.
And Earl, what do you think?
I think they're going to play 4, 2 at home, 2 on the road. I just want a Sunday night home game and a Monday night home game.
I'll take anything but a Thursday night Thursday night primetime game.
Oh, they'll definitely play a Thursday night game. I don't know if it's going to be at home or not, but everybody
Everyone plays at
I'm just
Thursday.
tired of playing Cincinnati and Baltimore and like those type games. Like no more Cincinnati Browns in primetime. We done had enough of that.
Well, Those are the ones the NFL likes to market.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Bengals and Browns always end up like playing like somehow meaningless games at the end of the year. Like there's one meaningless game
Well,
and
they
play
put all
really
the-
early during.
Yeah.
They put all the division games at the end of the season, though, so they try to make it so hopefully it's competitive, but it's turned into a lot
Right.
of
Yeah, last
irrelevant,
year it didn't
meaningless
turn
games,
out
yeah.
to be meaningful.
They had a week 5 bye last year. Do you guys think it'll be that early again this year? Or where do
Probably
you guys
not.
think the bye
I
will
think the
land?
league tries to, move teams around from year to year, but I don't know.
I think it'll be week 9 or 10.
The early bye sucks.
Yeah, it's
Like
trash.
the early bye, I understand if you're not playing well out the gate. Then
Or
the
if you have
early
an
bye is,
injured key player that's you waiting for him to come
but then
back.
the rest of the season, it's a god. That's
Yeah.
so many games in a
Wow.
row to end the season.
But
That's tough.
Listen, in the end, the Browns got a bye that last week because they had nothing to play for that last game. So
Yeah. It'll be interesting. On Wednesday, do you think they'll do it sporadically like they've done in the past? They send out a few games and they wait an hour or two, let everyone digest it, they send another hour or two. Will we see the teams? I mean, you remember the marketing thing the Titans
Oh,
did
yeah, that
last
was
year.
good. Well,
the
yeah.
Browns had their WWE, so I wonder if the Miz will
Man,
be somehow involved too. By the way, he's in the building. Earl's going to grab
he's
him
coming.
right now.
Yeah, he's coming down early. So we'll have him here in a few minutes.
Y'all guys, these dudes. Let me tell you about the rest of y'all leagues be losing. Like the internet breaks the NFL breaks the internet just on schedules. Like just think about that. Like everybody has some special reveal. It's like a gender reveal
Right,
now.
right.
Like it's crazy.
Most of us care more about more fans will care more about the schedule release than the NBA playoff games.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
That would be, in theory, that would be Cavs game 6 that night, right?
Yeah.
we make it there.
Game 7 is the 19th, so Game 6 would be the 17th. Would be Game 5, which means there's a good chance.
Game 5 would be Game 5, right? Game 5 would be Wednesday, right?
Which is not crazy to think that the Cavs could have a Game 5
Right.
and the schedule release, and we'll spend
Right,
most
but
of
if
we'll spend most of the day on the schedule release, and most of the interest will be on the schedule release.
Yeah. I mean, if the Cavs are down 3-1 going into that game, which is the most likely scenario,
Going into Boston for Game 5,
Yeah.
the
right?
hopes will be dipped.
For you guys, look, people used to get mad about 1:00 games. To be truthful,
I like 1 o'clock.
I
games.
love 1:00 games, right? Because if you win your 1:00 game, you're viewing the rest of the day as easy money.
That's right.
You just now you into your fantasy team. You're looking around. Like, I need a couple points here or there. But the 4:00 game has no sweat. You just look around. You look at the highlights. The rest of your day, you even go back later and get that second meal because you don't order some food. You're about to warm it back up.
Yeah.
About 7 o'clock, you're like, let me sit down and see what's going on. But when you doing 4:00 games, that's nerve-wracking.
I hate the wait. I hate the
wait.
lead up because 4 o'clock on a regular day, 4 o'clock comes like that.
Yeah.
But when you're waiting for a 4 o'clock kick, or in basketball like an 8:30 tip off like we have on Saturday,
Yeah.
it's
It just be
doom and
dragging.
gloom, and the games take
The
forever
weekend
beforehand.
night game is the worst. Like, at least on a Monday, you went to work
You
or whatever.
worked, yeah.
Right,
You know,
you're the
most
only
people
people
work
on.
till 5 o'clock, and you're like, okay, you get home, and the game's not too much. But a Saturday game at 8:30.
Brutal.
Oh.